right, guys, we are moving headlong towards CMAS. So let's get going. All right, so we're talking about volume today. Um, so yeah, we got volunteers at a food pantry, pack cases, boxes of soup into crates, boxes of soup. I guess they do have boxes of soup at the supermarket. How many boxes of soup will fill each crate? Show your work. So we got the measurements of the crate, we got the measurements of the box, right? So the way I kind of like to think of this is, how do I draw this out? Um, if I kind of look at this side of it, right? Let me kind of just draw this out here. Um, Parallel should probably be about right there, maybe, right? And then this will go there. This will go there. There we go. Don't worry about that part. So if I look at this, right, I know that this is 12 inches high, right? And if the box of soup is 6 inches high, that means I can actually fit two boxes vertically, right? Because 6 times 2 is 12. So I can fit two boxes of soup vertically, okay, going up and down, okay? Now, if I look at this way, it's 18 inches this way, and each box is 2 inches this way, right? So I can fit nine of them, right? Because 9 times 2 is 18, right? So I can fit nine boxes this way. Okay, and then I kind of follow the same thing, right? I've got the vertical here. I've got the length. Now let's get the width of it. I've got 12 inches this way, and each box is 4 inches. So 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so that means I can fit three boxes this way. Right? So that's kind of how I envision thinking about this, right? And so all I do here for a volume of something, right, is basically how many boxes at this point is how many I can fit in there. I just kind of multiply the base times the width times the height, right? So base times the length times the height. So that would be 3 times 9 times 2, right? So 3 times 9 times 2, that gets us to 27. Times 2 is 54 boxes of soup. It's a lot of boxes of soup. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you can fit 54 boxes of soup. Okay, just figure out how many boxes go kind of in each dimension, then multiply them all together. You get it. Okay, that is a trapezoidal fish tank, right? An aquarium with exotic fish. Tank has the size and shape of a trapezoidal prism. So we've got kind of a diagram of it right here. All the measurements are on here. This is the how it would be broken down if we were looking at it straight vertically. The distance from the front glass to the back glass is 2 feet right here. Okay. What is the volume of the aquarium tank? So this is the area formula for a trapezoid, right? I've got my base one or my base two at 6. I got my base one at 3, and I got my height at 2. Okay, so I'm just going to take all these three numbers and plug them in here, and that's going to just bust out our answer right there. Okay, so it's going to be A equals 1/2 times 6 plus 3, or 3 plus 6. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then you multiply that by 2. Now 1/2 times 2 is 1, so we don't really have to worry about that, because 1 times 1, or 1 times anything, is just itself, right? So I just worry about 3 plus 6, which is 9, and it is feet squared for the area. Now that's the area of just the base. So here, right? I mean, it could be the top as well, kind of depending on how you're looking at it, right? But that's the area right there. Now, what you got to do is multiply that by the height. So you take this right here, the area of the base, and then multiply it by the height. So that would be 9 times 5 gets you to 45 feet cubed. Yeah, because it's volume. Yep. Okay, so the area, or the volume of the tank, is 45 feet cubed. Okay. All right, now we've got a similar concept, right? The idea with these kind of problems, guys, is you figure out the area of the base of the shape, and then you multiply it by the height. That's just the general kind of like pattern for these, right? So it works for trapezoids, it works for prisms. So if we take a look at this one, right? If I take a look at the bottom of the shape, I think of this as the bottom, and I'll find the area of this, and then I'll multiply it by the height of that triangle, right? Because you can flip it around however you want to, right, to look at it, right? So that's how I tend to think of these things, right? Now the area of the base, in this case, it's a triangle, is going to be 1/2 base times height, right? So we'll do the area of the base right here. It's going to be 6 times 8 and then half of that, right? Because that's the area of a triangle, right? So it's going to be 48 times a half is 24 centimeters squared. So that's the area of the base. And then we're gonna multiply it by the height of the prism, which in this case is 14. So that's going to be 24 times 14, which I'm just going to use my calculator for that. Gets us to 336, right? So the volume of that triangular prism is 336 centimeters cubed. Okay, Sequan has a shed for his athletic equipment. Nice to have a shed for your athletic equipment. Good lord! What is the total volume of the shed? I'm going to look at this in terms of two different shapes. I've got the cube on the bottom, and then I've got the triangular prism on top. So the cube on the bottom is 18 by 18 by 18. So volume of a cube is just you multiply the. Actually, I mean it's like super similar to this, right? Cube, rectangular prism, kind of the same process, right? I multiply the length times the width times the height, right? So it's just 18 times 18 times 18, or 18 cubed, because it is a three-dimensional shape, right? So I can say 18 times 18 times 18, or I can say 18 cubed right there, and I get the same thing, right? So that gets us 5,832, what is it, centimeters? Feet? No, feet, yeah, because it's a shed. So feet cubed. That's a lot of space for athletic equipment. Now we're going to do the roof. That's that triangular prism. So we got to figure out the area of the base. So the height of that triangle is 10, and then the base of it is 18, right? Because it's a cube, right? So that is 18 times 10, right? So which it gives us 1/2 of 180, which is 90. Okay. So the area of the base of that triangular prism is 90, right? What is it? 90 feet squared. Okay. And then we multiply it by the height, which is 18. So you take 90 times 18. Right? Where are we at? 90 times 18 gets us to 1620 feet cubed, because we got that into volume. And then now we just add those together. So 5832 plus 1620 gets us to 5832 plus 1620 gets us to 7452. Hey,
Good morning.
morning.
How are you?
Good. I am recording right now, just so you know.
Right this very second?
Right this very second.
Oh, sorry.
I will pause it. What's going on?
Just wanted to let you know good news.
Okay. Hold on. Where's the pause? Where's the pause? Where's the pause? Sorry about that, guys. Just actually, very good news for you guys in particular. They hired a 7th grade math teacher, so I think they'll start on Monday. The volume of the shape is 7,452 feet cubed. So hey, that's great news, huh? Similar thing, just a different shape right here. This is all rectangles. It's rectangles all the way down. Oops, all rectangles. You got to do a little bit of math here to kind of figure out heights and stuff, or not heights necessarily for this one, but height for this one. But if I take a look at it and I just break it down and I look at the big rectangle, the one that's standing up tall, like this one right here. Again, it's that same base times length times height. I've got the height as 12. I've got this length. Let's call that the length as 6, right there. And then I got to figure out this distance right here, which I can actually pull that right from there, and I get that as 5. So I get 12 times 6 times 5. Let's just real quick do the math for that. 12 times 6 times 5 gets us to 360. Okay. And what are the measurements here? Inches cubed. And then I have the small rectangle. Let's see, we have this width, let's say, as 5. I want to get the length right here. We know the total is 14, and we know this is 6 down here, which makes that 8, because 6 plus 8 is 14, right? So that gets us to 8 right there for that one. And then we got to figure out the height, which we got to figure out that right there. We know that the whole thing is 12, and we know this right here is 8. So 12 minus 8 is 4. So we've got 5 times 8 times 4. So let's figure that out right there. 5 times 8 times 4 gets us to 160 inches cubed. It is inches, right? Yeah. And then I'm just going to add those two together, right? 360 plus 160, because it's a composite shape, right? So you got to figure out total what it is. 360 plus 160 gets us to 520 inches cubed. So the volume of this shape is 500. That's a bad 520 inches cubed. There you go. All right, man. I guess this is the last video I do for you guys. Oh, that's kind of sad. All right.